Wind up, Jason! Your work isn't finished!
This is a one-time gig. When it's done, we're done.
Let's dance, asshole!
So in this video, I want to take some time and talk about a game that I had a lot of fun with playing as a kid, and I still play it till this day because it's a game that I can always go back at any time and never get tired of it. And the game that I am referring to is Super Mario Bros. 3. And the main reason why I wanted to make this video is, well, of course, I already talked about Super Mario Bros. 1 and 2, so I thought it was only right for me to talk about Super Mario Bros. 3, but I also wanted to make this video because it is my favorite game out of the original Mario trilogy when it came to the first 3 games, and I just want to share my overall thoughts on how I personally feel about Super Mario Bros. 3, so I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you guys have any thoughts of your own when it comes to Super Mario Bros. 3, like if there's anything in specific that really caught your attention when it comes to this game, be sure to let me know down below because I would absolutely love to start a discussion with you guys. So Super Mario Bros. 3 was a groundbreaking evolution of the Mario formula, building on the core gameplay of the original Super Mario Bros., but expanding it in ways that felt fresh and innovative. The platform mechanics were redefined, the controls were smoother, and each level introduced new mechanics or obstacles that kept the gameplay engaging. The first game had already established the basics when it came to jumping, running, and defeating enemies, but the third game made it feel like an adventure packed with surprises. And some of the most significant gameplay changes was the introduction of the Super Leaf, which turned Mario into Raccoon Mario and gave him the ability to fly. And this was a game changer, quite literally, because flying allowed me to discover hidden areas, collect out-of-reach items, and breeze over difficult sections of a level when needed. And compared to the first game, where Mario was limited to jumping and just shooting fireballs, this level of freedom added a whole new dimension to the game. And in Super Mario Bros. 2, while there was some variety with character-specific abilities, the freedom to fly was unmatched in Super Mario Bros. 3. And the addition of the world map also revolutionized how I approached the game instead of progressing from one level to the next in a straight line like in the original game. The map allowed me to choose different paths, skip levels with items like the warp whistle, and explore bonus stages for extra power-ups. And this created a sense of non-linearity and made the game feel like a more immersive experience when I had more control over the route I took. Super Mario Bros. 3 just polished every aspect of its predecessors, offering tighter controls, more varied levels, and new ways to play that it felt like a natural evolution of the series. Each world felt like a new challenge, keeping the experience fresh from start to finish, and this perfect balance of old and new is what made the game feel like the pinnacle of the trilogy. And the level design in Super Mario Bros. 3 is also one of the key reasons why it stands out as my favorite. Each world introduced something unique, from the sprawling deserts of Desert Island to the whimsical giant enemies of Giant Land. Every level felt like it had its own personality, and the creativity on display was remarkable. The first 2 games had memorable levels, but Super Mario Bros. 3 took it to a whole new level of variety. Take Giant Land, for example. The moment I encountered those massive Goombas and Koopa Troopas, I knew I was in for something special. It was a visual twist that made the familiar enemies feel fresh again. Even though the gameplay mechanics remained consistent, this unique visual design kept the levels from feeling repetitive. Compare this to Super Mario Bros., where level designs were more straightforward and it didn't change much aesthetically as the game progressed, and you could see why Super Mario Bros. 3 left such an impression. And the game also experimented with environmental hazards in clever ways. Iceland, for instance, was a real test of skill, as the slippery surfaces made controlling Mario more challenging, and the game pushed me to adapt to each world's new set of rules, whether it was navigating tricky platforming sections in Skyland or surviving the fast-paced airship levels. and this variety kept me engaged as each new world brought it with a fresh set of challenges to overcome. And the magic of Super Mario Bros. 3 lies in how these worlds felt distinct from one another. Every world map and level had its own style, whether it was the snowy landscapes of Iceland or the lava-filled dangers of Darkland. The game's diversity and design made the adventure feel bigger and more exciting than the previous titles, making every step forward feel rewarding. And the power-ups in Super Mario Bros. 3 were a game changer, offering far more variety than the original game's mushrooms and fire flower. The Super Leaf, like we spoke about earlier, the Frog Suit, and the Tanuki Suit all introduced new abilities that made each power-up feel crucial to gameplay in different ways. While Super Mario Bros. Kept power-ups simple, Super Mario Bros. 3 expanded on the concept, letting me use different power-ups strategically depending on the level. One of my favorite additions was the Frog Suit, which was especially useful in the water levels in Super Mario Bros. Swimming could feel sluggish, but with the Frog Suit, I was able to swim much faster and avoid obstacles with ease. This made the water levels far more enjoyable, and I found myself hoping to find the Frog Suit before entering those stages. And the power-up wasn't just a fun gimmick, it generally changed how I approached these parts of the game. And the Tanuki Suit was also another standout. While it offered the same flying ability as Super Leaf, it also allowed me to turn into a statue, which added a defensive strategy to the game. This added a layer of depth that was missing in the earlier games. The decision of whether to use a power-up right away or save it for later became a part of the strategy. With so many different power-ups, each with unique strengths and weaknesses, the game felt much richer in terms of tactical variety. And these power-ups weren't just fun, they expanded the gameplay in meaningful ways, making each playthrough feel unique depending on how and when I used them. The sheer variety of power-ups and the strategic choice they offered made Super Mario Bros. 3 stand out as the most dynamic and exciting game out of the trilogy. And the boss fights in Super Mario Bros. 3 are some of the most memorable in the series, and they significantly improve on what came before. In Super Mario Bros., the Bowser fights were relatively straightforward, with each one being a slight variation of jumping over him to hit a switch. Super Mario Bros. 3 took things to another level by introducing the Koopalings, each with its own unique set of moves and attack patterns. Each Koopaling boss fight felt like a puzzle that needed solving. Ludwig, Koopa's high jumps and ground-pounding attacks required different timing than Wendy's rings, which forced me to dodge projectiles in a more strategic way. And these differences in attack styles meant that I couldn't approach each boss the same way, keeping the experience fresh as I progressed through the game. And the final battle with Bowser was a huge improvement over the previous games. Instead of simply jumping over him or dodging fireballs, I had to trick him into breaking the ground beneath him, which made the fight feel more dynamic and engaging. And this creative twist gave me a satisfying end to the game, as it required me to use my platforming skills in a new way, rather than relying on the same old tricks from earlier encounters. And the variety and creativity in these boss fights made each encounter feel rewarding and challenging. Instead of just being obstacles to the next world, the bosses in Super Mario Bros. 3 were highlights of the game that I look forward to. Their unique designs and attacks added another layer of excitement to the overall experience. And the visual presentation in Super Mario Bros. 3 is one of the reasons it has aged so well. The art style is vibrant and full of character, with each world and enemy being distinct and memorable. While Super Mario Bros. Had more simplistic design due to the limitations of the NES, Super Mario Bros. 3 pushed the hardware to its limits, creating a much more colorful and detailed world. And the world maps in particular stood out to me. Each one had its own theme, from the grassy plains of Grassland to the icy terrain of Iceland. These maps didn't just serve as a way to navigate between levels, they felt like the extensions of the game world, making the adventure feel bigger and more immersive. And the visual design of the maps, combined with the level-specific themes, helped make each world feel unique and memorable. Even the enemy designs were more varied and interesting than in previous games. The Koopalings all had their own distinct looks, and enemies like the Boomerang Bros and Chain Chomps added new visual and gameplay elements that kept things exciting. Compared to the simpler designed Super Mario Bros. And the more surreal approach of Super Mario Bros. 2, the third game struck a perfect balance between detail and clarity. and the overall art direction of Super Mario Bros. 3 gave the game a timeless quality. It's still just as fun to look at today as it was back then when it first came out, which is a testament to show how well the designs crafted the game's visual identity. And one of the most unforgettable aspects of Super Mario Bros. Is its music and sound design. From the moment you start the game, the upbeat and catchy overworld theme pulls you in, setting the tone for an exciting adventure. Koji Kondo's soundtrack for Super Mario Bros. 3 perfectly complements each level and world, adding to the atmosphere and making every moment feel engaging. The music in each world reflects its theme, whether it's the lively, bouncy theme of the grasslands or the chilly, atmospheric tones of Iceland. Each world had a distinct musical identity that enhances the immersion and reinforces the different environments you're exploring. The music for the airship levels with its tense driving beat always got me pumped up for challenging the boss fights ahead. Compared to the original Super Mario Bros. Where the music was iconic but more limited, Super Mario Bros. 3 featured a richer and more varied score that kept things feeling fresh. And the sound effects are just as iconic, whether it's the satisfying sound of Mario stomping on enemies or the twinkling chime when you collect a coin. The game's audio adds to the tactical satisfaction of playing, and the sound when you pick up power-ups or when Mario takes flight with the Super Leaf are still ingrained in my memory. And these little audio cues enhance the gameplay experience, making each action feel meaningful and fun. And the combination of the memorable music and perfectly crafted sound effects helps make Super Mario Bros. 3 an audio-visual masterpiece. The soundtrack is something I still find myself humming to this day, and it's another big reason why this game is my favorite in the trilogy. At the end of the day, Super Mario Bros. 3 just has everything I love in a game. The gameplay is smooth, the worlds are creative, and the power-ups add so much variety and fun. And the boss fights are memorable, and the art and music really bring it all together. It's one of those games I can pick up anytime and still have a great time with, no matter how many years have passed. Out of the original trilogy, it's definitely my favorite because it took everything good from the first two and made it even better. And even now, Super Mario Bros. 3 holds up as a true classic that never gets old. So other than that, that is all I have to say about Super Mario Bros. 3 today. I'm just really happy that I had the opportunity today to talk about this game because it was a lot of fun growing up. And each and every single time I make these videos, just sharing my overall experience with you guys, it really makes me want to go back and replay this game all over again. And trust me, I played through this game over and over and over again so many times. I honestly lost count. Like, I definitely know it's in the double digits at this point when it comes to how much time I put into playing Super Mario Bros. 3. But if you guys have any thoughts of your own when it comes to Super Mario Bros. 3, like I mentioned earlier, that you guys want to share with me, be sure to let me know down below because I would absolutely love to hear your experience when it comes to this game. And if you guys enjoyed the video that you saw on the channel today, be sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Trust me, we're going to be having a lot more Mario content on here because I absolutely love the Mario franchise. And if you guys want to follow me on my social media, be sure to check out my TikTok, my Instagram, my Facebook page, and my Twitter. All of that is located in the description below. Be sure to click on that bell for notifications so you guys are notified whenever I drop a video on this channel. But other than that, I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic day, wherever the day may be, if it's the daytime, the nighttime, or the evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace out.